All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. This is Brother Barak coming at you with another lesson that I pray is edifying and exhorting. Okay, and pretty much just going to get into, these scriptures in this video I was watching this morning from the Elder Barak out of the GMS LA camp. I believe it's their channel is GMS Ancient in Days. Well, with this channel here, as you see at the bottom, is GMS Barak Allah 77. So, subscribe and be edified. But it does very edifying videos, hold very beautiful counts as well. The water Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah for the body. Okay, but yeah, he's going into some history. Look like a video he got off of TikTok, but it got some good points in it. And pretty much so through the spirit, I just want to add on to it and pray you're edified and exhorted. All right.
Israelite men, women, and children. For over 400 years, more than 15 million black Hebrew Israelite men, women, and children were tragic victims of the transatlantic slave trade from Africa, and over 6 million Native Americans in the Northern Hemisphere, which entailed the capture of Hebrew slaves by African Arab.
Okay, so that goes into it said, let's go back, because it even spoke about, the Northern Kingdom being displaced from this side, because a lot of people don't know that the northern, first and foremost, the Northern Kingdom is part of the nation of Israel. Okay, those would be the Latin tribes, and also the Seminole Indian, Seminole, so-called Seminole, and the Seminole and Native American Indians. Okay, that was already here on this side of the world. But what a lot of them was, of course, killed off, but also captured and sent back north to like different European countries. Okay, and at the same time, the Southern Kingdom, predominantly Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, was being captured off of the western coast of Africa, and also some of the interiors of Africa, right, and being traded, to this side of the world. Okay, so let's go back.
Israelite men, women, and children. For over 400 years, more than 15 million black Hebrew Israelite men, women, and children were tragic victims of the transatlantic slave trade from Africa, and over 6 million Native Americans in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yep. So the Native Americans that was over here in the Northern Hemisphere, they was being moved and sent back to Europe. Okay, that's why it's known as what? The slave trade. Okay, so it was human trafficking, and as we're going to get into the scriptures, of course, guns, alcohol, cotton, different resources, right? Because later on, then you continue in history, that's when you'll get into the, what do they call it? The gold rush. The gold rush is pretty much when it was, what you would say, colonizing and invading Africa. The western coast to the southern coast, it was known as the Gold Coast over there in Africa, right? And pretty much, they were still trading our people for, gold, ivory, different resources of the earth.
Which entailed the capture of Hebrew slaves by African, Arab, and European slavers. Nobody can completely explain the reason for the transatlantic slave trade.
That's the part that really, caught my attention right there. No one can really explain the reason for the transatlantic slave trade, because that's what these scholars do. They search history, and then it's another term called collapsology. And when you go into collapsology, they're pretty much studying the collapse and downfall of different empires. And it normally goes into, of course, lewdness and but the most thing that they push is a weakened military and finances, bad finances. But this can't really be explained because Israel is pretty much a sovereign nation. But of course, we wasn't sovereign at that time because we was under Roman occupation. But when you trace back the nation of Israel's, history, we started off as a sovereign nation. But every time we would go off, read the book of Judges, the Lord would put us in captivity underneath these other nations, right? So they can't really explain it from a physical standpoint because it's a spiritual standpoint of why the transatlantic slave trade happened. Why was this done heavily to this people?
All the reasons that scholars make up are not founded in facts at all. However,
everything that they make up are not founded in facts at all. It don't make sense. It can't physically be proven. That's what a fact is. A fact is something that can be proven. You see? But we was taken down because of divine intervention. because of prophecy, the word of the Lord.
The Bible has a clear explanation. After saving the Hebrews from Egypt, they made a covenant in the wilderness with Moses. Deuteronomy 28 says that if the Israelites keep the commandments of God, the will be blessed exceedingly. And if they don't, they will be perpetually cursed and sent back into the hands of their enemies and all who hate them.
Exactly. So we got cursed, and this the effects of those curses that got set upon us for our disobedience to Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
It's clear that the entire world, even Africans, have a disdain for black.
All right, so let's go here. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Right? See, this was after we was delivered and rescued and ransomed out of Egypt, man. The Lord destroyed those Egyptians, okay, with a great destruction. Okay, he took our firstborns. He killed their children. Okay, the Lord is terrible. Okay, he destroyed them for us. But when he delivered us, we made a covenant. The Lord, like, I ain't rescue y'all ass for nothing. You know, ultimately, it also goes into the promise that was made to Abraham, because it says that we will be in Africa, not Africa, Salakia. It says that we will be in Egypt for 400 years, right? That was a slip of the tongue, right? But eventually, what the Lord came and rescued us, he kept his word. But when he rescued us and delivered us, we entered into a covenant with him, okay? And the covenant, as we just read here in Deuteronomy 28:1, and it should come to pass that thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Now let's jump down to verse 14. Let me see. Verse 15. And as you see, and I believe this is what the elder titled his video, Consequences of Disobedience, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Consequences of Disobedience, Slavery. Right? And that's exactly what it says here in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass that thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee. And then as you go into these curses, it goes into ultimately the transatlantic slave trade and a lot of different other curses. You know, us hating each other, us being chased, by the sword, us being plagued and pestilence coming upon us serving these other nations in captivity. Okay, but let's get to the transatlantic slave trade, because this scripture is a direct transatlantic slave trade scripture. And this is a scripture that was also used for the great awakening of masses of the nation of Israel to realize that we are the biblical Israelites, right? Deuteronomy 28:68. It says, and the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So let's get this word Egypt, because they'll try to argue and say, well, they didn't go back into Egypt, but Egypt is just a Greek word for Mizraim, right? So it's the land of the Copts, but as you go down, it tells you the geographical location. But then here, what it says, double straits, right? And straits goes into what? A position of difficulty. Straits naturally formed a narrow passage of water connecting two seas, used in reference to a situation characterized by a specific degree of trouble or difficulty, right? The economy is in dire straits. A crippling disease could leave anyone in serious financial straits. So what the Lord did was he put us in a very a degree of great trouble, a degree of great difficulty. Okay, and what we entered over here, because America, the Western Hemisphere, this is the land of our captivity. The scriptures tell you that in the land of thy captivity, thou shalt remember yourselves. They will remember themselves. So this place was built up and established for our punishment. Okay, and this is truly punishment. Don't think that you're right because everybody don't even have a roof over their head, but you eating and you so-called in a good position, but really you're farther and farther away from your God, man. Okay, you see, so we're always gonna be in a position of difficulty if we can't worship Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai as we should. right? Because what happened is the Lord go get pissed off on us and continue to judge us. See, the Lord have hid his face from us, right? But glory be to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. John 3:16, what? He sent his only begotten son, right, to be the sacrifice for the nation of Israel. Okay, starting with the elect. Let's get out of here. Let's see if there's any more on this. And Egypt is also linked up. Look at that. It says, Mastor, a name for Egypt, siege, entrenchment, right? So this is the land of our captivity. You will be taken to captivity, right? You will be taken to double straits by the way of ships. Okay. That's what happened when you get into that word Mizraim. Siege, enclosure, siege, entrenchment, siege word, siege, enclosure. And what we're enclosed on every side. And right now he's enclosing down on the people, right? He's entrapping the people with the MOTB to further remove you away from your power, man. Okay, that will ultimately do it right there, though. And the Lord's going to judge you by fire, right? Read the book, start Revelation 13-16. It goes into the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, right? And then when you go into Revelation, the 14th chapter, it tells you about the judgment for taking the chip. Okay, so I believe that's pretty much it on this word. Yep, to bind, besiege, confine, cramp, confine, secure, to shut up, shut in. You see. So that's what happened when you go into that word Egypt, right? And also, it's also synonymous with the house of bondage. Okay, so let's go back to this verse, Deuteronomy 28:68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. Because when he delivered us, well, he said, hey, you ain't got to worry about going into captivity if you serve me. But if you go off and break these laws, right, then hey, you're going back into captivity, right? It says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And that word buy goes back to redeem. So we haven't been redeemed. Only the elect, and that's why I said no man shall buy you, because all of Israel ain't going to make it out of this thing. Right? The sacrifice of Yahweh Shah was only for the elect. We'll start off for the whole nation of Israel, but starting with the elect, man. So the elect is gonna come out on this side. Okay. And the rest of the nation of Israel, y'all pretty much go be joint back into the fold after you're gonna have to be reborn into it. But see what the Lord is dealing with the elect, and Lord willing, found within that number, but what we have been spiritually reborn. Okay. So now let's grab this. The elder also hit this. Joel 3. He was getting down in that video. You brothers got to check it out. Joel chapter 3. Verse 3, straight to the point. It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. And that show you that this is going to Esau Edom, because Esau Edom, he's the disgusting Mo, right? A map. That's their new acronym. But he's a pedo, okay? Giving a boy for harlot, and ultimately selling our people into witchcraft. Revelation the 17th chapter, right? Babylon the Great, the mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, right? Roughly paraphrasing, it says that selleth nations by her witchcraft. But let's get into this word harlot. It says to commit fornication, be a harlot, play the harlot. And first and foremost, what they did, they buck broke, the men of our nation. They was, raping, little boys. Esau is sick, man, right? Half of those, he used a woman, but not too much. Esau is more into men, okay? And ultimately, he did that physically, but also, selling our people, leading our people, to fornication, to idol worship, right? Because he pretty much, he beat our nationality out of our people, okay? And now he got them worshiping, Serapis Christus, okay? To commit fornication, be a harlot, play the harlot. To be a harlot, act as an harlot, commit fornication, right? And the top harlotry is idolatry, man. This system, America is built the way it's set up, the ley lines, all right, all this is built off of witchcraft, man. Okay, to keep our people in a very, very low state, right? To keep our people far away from our power. So that was Joel 3:3. And they have cast lots from our people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink, right? Taking our, our people drinking of these philosophies as well. But going to sold a girl for wine, what they would just sell women so they could drink. Okay, they'll say, well, a man is 3/5 of a man. You women wasn't counted as nothing. They used you for wine. Only thing they needed you to do was reproduce with the men, so that way they could have, more slaves, right? So let's go. Oh yes, another one I wanted. Where is that at? Is it Exodus 24? I can't even remember how. I can remember a few words off of it. I might have to just type it in. No, it's not 24. Let me see. Yeah, it is 24. Hey, call all y'all about Shin Yahushua. But let's get up to Exodus chapter 24 and 6. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant. Remember, we entered into a covenant with the Lord. And inside this book was written what? The law, statutes, and commandments, right? And read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that Yahweh have said will we do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh have made with you concerning all these words. So we entered into that covenant, right? Right. In order for a covenant to be established, there has to be blood. So that's why the blood was used. So we enter into that covenant. This covenant was actually made. This covenant, this is something real and dead serious. That's why as we watched this video, it said that it cannot be explained. Like none of the points can be explained why the transatlantic slave trade happened. But we understand it through the scriptures. Only the Bible give you the explanation of why these things happen to our people, because we entered into an oath with the Lord. Let's go.
Black people of whom are descendants of the true biblical Israelites based on archaeological, cultural, and DNA evidence.
Not only so-called black people, we're not black. You got the Spanish-speaking tribes and the Native American tribes, the Seminole Indian tribes make up the stock of Israel, of the real Hebrew Israelites, and then you have the Israelite foreigners who have been scattered abroad.
Luke 1:68. Blessed be Yahweh, the God of the Hebrew Israelites, for he hath visited and redeemed his people. For over 400 years.
So we're being redeemed now. So let's go down to the Deuteronomy 28. Oh yeah, let's deal with the scattering situation. Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods. That's why a lot of people into these different gods, different philosophies, heavy into the Islam culture, the Muslim culture, the Christianity culture, so on and so forth, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, to worship in that Kaaba stone. In our Muslim culture, Islam culture, it says among these nations.
Yeah, man, our people are through, man. Our people are through. Very, very low estate.
Thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because it said among these nations, and he also spoke about the scattered, right? Going to the scattered, we've been scattered to the four corners of the earth within all these different nations. So let's get the book of First Maccabees chapter 2, and where's that at? First Maccabees 2 and 10. It says, what nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? And what's the spoils? The spoils are the people, man. The Negroes, Latino, Native and Seminole American, men, women, and children, as the guy was speaking about in that video was playing, the TikTok video that Elder Barak Allah is showing, right? He was going to the millions of men, women, and children. Man, the Lord judged us as a nation. Okay, you see? So what nation have not, had a part in her spoils, man? It's evident who the true biblical Israelites are. Let's go to the book of Daniel. Because like he said, the guy said about archaeological, DNA, cultural, All these things show you who the true Israelites are. But this is the book of Daniel chapter 9, verse, I'll start at 9. To the Lord our power belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahweh our God to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants the prophet. Yeah. That the book, remember Moses read the book of the covenant. Okay. And we entered into a covenant with him, but we did not obey. We did not keep those ways. Verse 11, yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse, we just read that in Deuteronomy 28, their curse is poured upon us in the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. Right? And also, the judges that spoke, the judges is who? The prophets. Remember the Jeremiah, what, you're going to go into captivity. All the prophets spoke about the captivity and also the great judgment of the end time to come. Right? Thermonuclear fire. Right? All these things were spoken about. Okay? Now, it says, let's read 12. I think I read it again. He had confirmed. Yep. How did he confirm? By bringing it on. You know, we're living it out right now. And he had confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And even unto this day, you see, for under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. So what had happened to our people on the whole earth, they have not been done to any other nation. You see, that's why the guy said that in that video. He said, what, the scholars, they can't prove, they can't really make reason out of why the transatlantic slave trade happened. How did Esau come up in power like that, right? And then just be able to do the things that he have done. How could this one group of people, millions of us, how could we just be so, disoriented, not even have a standing military, not even be able to fight, not even be able to defend ourselves, but pretty much just like walk into captivity like this, man. When I say walk, I'm just mean, I'm using that metaphorically, but of course we was captured, we was taken, but like, hey, that why? Because the Lord wasn't defending us, right? Why? Because we broke his laws, right? Verse 13, as it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet made we not our prayer before Yahweh our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth, right? Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For the Lord our power is righteous in all his works which he doeth, for we obeyed not his voice. You see? Right? Because we didn't obey the Lord brought forth the judgment upon us. And since it's divine, that's why we can't get out of it. And now, O Lord our power, thou hast brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and hast gotten thee renowned, as at this day we have sinned, we have done wickedly. Right? So just like the Lord delivered us out of Egypt, ancient Egypt, now he's going to deliver us out of spiritual Egypt. Let's grab that. Because we're in Egypt once again. Revelation, what is that? Is that 11? 11 and 7? 11 and 8. Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So this place is Sodom. We ain't even got to get into it. Everybody burnt into their own lust. Men after men, women after women, people with animals. Okay, in Egypt, we already went into that word Egypt. The land of straits, position of difficulty, ultimately the land of our captivity, where also our Lord was crucified. You see, the name Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai is not, promoted here. Even you got men that know they're Israelites, they're Xing out that name. They're crucifying that name. They're not calling upon the name, and that's why we're in this position right now, for not serving the Lord in truth and sincerity and not calling upon his name. But call her Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai for the remnant, man. Right? But let's get ready and, wrap this lesson up. I believe I tagged pretty much all the precepts I wanted.
That's depression. Heavy depression in this captivity we're dealing with. You're trembling heart. Cops gun you down, and once upon a time they just pull you out your house. A mob of Edomites hang you up and burn you alive. And that's dealing with the sorrow of mind, man, in everyday struggles.
Facts. Sorrow of mine, man. Our people are traumatized, and that trauma came from the Lord. That show you, man, the Lord don't play. The Lord do not play. Okay. Oh, let's grab Amos 3. I start at 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel. And it's evident who the children of Israel are. Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So that's why we're going through what we're going through. These are the consequences of disobedience, right? Remember, the Lord done wiped out nations for us, man. The Lord don't play. But what? Our people rebelled, including us as well. That's why we all need mercy. But the Lord chose a remnant who he's going to deal with. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down now. I pray you was edified and exhorted. Brothers, check out the elder brother Barak Allah's video. This pretty much going to be a response to that. Consequences of disobedience. I pray you was edified and exhorted. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.